who are going to have healthcare crises because they're mad.
Yes.
Because anger. Not to get too holistic on you, but you know, that's going to cause a lot of problems.
And like fundamentalists, they are manipulated by these media demagogues who play them for suckers. It's really a perfect mirror.
And what they're mad at is so, you know, I want my country back. It's from what? Who's taking it?
There was so much Hitler at this thing. And not the fun Inglourious Bastards Hitler either. But this one guy I was talking to, I said, like, why Hitler? And he goes, well, Hitler also wanted to restrict medical care to people. Was that what he was the most known for, though?
By the way, there's a book called War of the Week that actually shows how a group in the United States with Franklin Roosevelt and Carnegie and Rockefeller and a group including Alexander Graham Bell actually started this notion of eliminating certain people from being cared. And there was a summit, a world summit, that Hitler attended, and then he took that notion and adapted it into his philosophy. So it was actually a born...
Ashton, I want to shake your hand.
Philosophy.
Right. Seriously. FDR, no, it's completely true. I mean, this isn't...
But again, that's not what he was most known for.
It's not what... This isn't... No, look, it's absolutely true.
It rhymed with world more move.
Contemporary... But listen, let me say a word...
I'm not... by the way, I'm not comparing Obama to Hitler.
No,
let me say a word.
Let me say a word in defense of the right-wing nutjobs who you so eloquently filmed. If you watch the first few frames of that video segment with the big pictures of Obama as Hitler with the handlebar mustache and so on, you'll see at the bottom of those pictures LaRouchePAC.com.
Right.
Now, I don't know how many people here know who Lyndon LaRouche is, but he's not a conservative.
No, he's a super left-wing.
He's a super left-wing crazy man who sends, you know, you'll see in Washington, D.C., you get on the metro and people are handing out, you know, LaRouche literature and so on.
On college campuses.
And on college campuses. So, I mean, one of the things that's happening in these town halls, it's attracting crazy right-wing people.
And crazy left-wing people.
And, you know, it's attracting a lot of crazy
And
people.
I don't like it when, during the run-up to the Iraq War, people on the left compared Bush to Hitler. It's, you know who should be compared to Hitler? Hitler. And maybe Chaplin.
Mel Brooks.
But it's a lazy analogy. It's a lazy sign.
Right.
But here's the point that I wanted to make before we run out of time. The thing that became really clear when I was down at Remote Access Medical is because people who don't have access to the most fundamental health care, they don't treat themselves until their problem becomes catastrophic. And as such, it costs 10 times more than it would normally. And guess who pays for it? We do, because insurance rates go up, and it's trickle-up costs. And the theory is if we can get these people, as you said earlier, some sort of preventative wellness plan, that over the long run, it's good business to get people health care.
Right, let me bring up one more subject before we do run out of time, because we have a real-life general here. And this was another story in the paper this week I thought would have been bigger, but it wasn't. Headline in the New York Times, Climate Change Seen as Threat to U.S. Security. It said the Pentagon and intelligence agencies are preparing for the day when global warming-inspired disasters like drought, mass migration, pandemics, food shortages, water crises, flooding become so dire that they topple governments, destabilize regions. So now the military is on the page with the environment.
Right. We did a study, 11 of us retired generals and admirals, that looked at the science of climate change, looked at the impact, land loss, loss of water, arable farming land, looked at health issues and concerns, even now navigable seas like the Arctic and the rush to exploit resources there and what that might cause. And then we looked at what might be generated, migrations, massive epidemics, war over water. And so we listed all these things as potential causae belli for the future. And we encourage our intelligence services to begin looking at these as potential security risks as we go forward.
And yet in Congress, you know, you have people like John Boehner, who's the head of the Republicans in Congress. His quote was, the idea that carbon dioxide is a carcinogen, I mean right there, that he thinks it's a carcinogen. The idea that carbon dioxide is a carcinogen that is harmful to our environment is almost comical. He said every cow in the world, when they do what they do, he means farting, you've got more carbon dioxide.
I thought it was methane.
It is methane. The man is a moron, but he is the lead person in the Republican side.
But Bill,
He
Bill,
literally
the Republican
doesn't
Party
know shit.
But the Republican Party... But John Boehner doesn't have any power. Right? I mean, the Democrats have a huge majority in the House of Representatives. They have 60 votes in the Senate.
He's a senator. What do you mean he doesn't have any power?
He's a congressman, not a senator, but he's the head of the Congress.
He's the head of the Republican Party in the House of Representatives. I'm just saying, like, you know, we can sit around all night talking about what bad shape the Republican Party is in, but the Democratic Party controls the government. And at a certain point, I think, I mean, take global warming, for instance. You look at what's happened with the attempt to pass cap-and-trade legislation, right? And it goes through the House of Representatives, and by the time it gets through the House of Representatives, it's had 60 things put in by interest groups, 60 things taken out. And I guess my question for you, Bill, as a liberal, is at what point do you see this as not just a problem with Republicans and Democrats, but kind of a problem with the way government works? And with the way government works, especially when it gets to be bigger...
Well, it is, but the problem is that government doesn't work right now, especially because the Democrats basically are the conservative party. Their solution is cap and trade. That used to be the Republican solution. It is a conservative
It was
solution.
conservative economists.
So the Democrats, the supposed liberal party, have the conservative solution, and the conservative party has the world will end when Jesus tells it will end solution. So, in other words, they don't have a partner to work with. One side says, let's do cap and trade, and the other side says, I like turtles.
I have a pet turtle, as it happens.
All right, you've been a great panel. I have to move on, or else we'll be late for Real Sex 98. Thank you very much. It's time for new rules, everybody.